You want to talk about Afghanistan? All right, well, let's do it. My head's going to explode. Let's talk about the greatest debacle of the U.S. government and the U.S. military that I have seen in my lifetime. Stop blaming Donald Trump. Stop blaming President Biden. Neither one of these guys are to blame. But I will tell you who you should be pointing the finger at.
You're watching The Roach on Florida TV.
Well, after 20 years of lies, deception from the American government when it comes to what happened in Afghanistan, it's finally time to all admit who is to really blame when it comes to this debacle in this faraway land. And it is not Donald Trump. For those on the left that were pointing the finger at him, I give him credit for what he did. Hear me out. Donald Trump was one of the few guys that stood up and said, enough is enough. I'm paraphrasing, of course, from him. But this is one of the few guys that stood up and said, this is a disaster. What a mistake, and was willing to get us out of that part of the world. And of course, he set that May deadline. We'll all remember he negotiated. See that press conference? He negotiated with the Taliban to get us out of there and to strike a deal with them so it would be somewhat orderly. Now, there is no way anyone could ever say how that would have gone if he would have remained as president of the United States. The only way to guess that is to assume what happened when Biden pulled the troops out. It wouldn't have been any different under Donald Trump. Same military, same leaders, same organization. So it's tough to stop people that are willing to strap bombs to themselves and blow themselves up. So don't sit there and act like we know what would have happened if Donald Trump was in charge. It could have been the same thing. It could have been different. Who knows? But that could have been one choice. The other choice would have been he would have been in office, started pulling the troops out, and then he would have said, you know what, this isn't going well. I'm going to leave the troops there, and I'll pass this on to the next president. But bottom line, I give Trump credit for standing up and saying enough is enough. Same story with Biden. He also followed the orders of Donald Trump, the May deadline, but pushed it till September, pulled the troops out. We all know what happened there. Major debacle, people killed, lives lost, but at least Biden stuck to his plan and got those people out there for once and for all, and end a 20-year mess that we got ourselves involved in. So stop pointing the finger at Trump, stop pointing your finger at Biden. Let me tell you right now, and just in case we have some younger people out there, this is the guy you need to be blaming.
On my orders, the United States military has begun strikes against al-Qaeda terrorist training camps and military installations of the Taliban regime in Afghanistan. These carefully targeted actions are designed to disrupt the use of Afghanistan as a terrorist base of operations and to attack the military capability of the Taliban regime.
Okay, there you have it. How could we forget that one? Of course, that is George W. Bush announcing the attack on al-Qaeda and the start of our battle in Afghanistan. You younger viewers out there may not even remember 9/11. You may not even know who George W. Bush was, but this is the guy that you need to be worried about when it comes to this major mistake in Afghanistan. This is the man and his administration and the people he assigned to handling this in the military. Every single one of them failed with this operation. Everything they predicted did not come true. Everything they said that would happen, of course, failed, and it never worked out in any manner. Remember things like the surge, or we need more troops there, they need better armor, and if we just spent more money, and we got different weapons there, and we start with a different general, and we start with a different military personnel in charge on the ground, all these different things, all of them complete lies. In for some of you out there will forget that, don't forget we started another war. We got ourselves into Iraq and we removed Saddam Hussein, a completely different country, and things like weapons of mass destruction. And we've all got to run for our lives because this guy is going to attack us. And we all know what the outcome of that was. There were no weapons of mass destruction. And I know some of you are going to say out there, oh, but there weren't. Okay, if he had them, and I know weapons were used to gas people in certain parts of the region. He did not have those weapons of mass destruction as they claimed on the satellite photos and other lies of deception that our federal government decided to sort of spread throughout our people and make us believe that these people need to be stopped. 2 wars, crazy things that were being said by not only George Bush, but Condoleezza Rice, Donald Rumsfeld, and who can forget this guy?
The read we get on the people of Iraq is there's no question but what they want to get rid of Saddam Hussein, and they will welcome as liberators the United States when we come to do
Okay,
that.
former Vice President Dick Cheney telling the American people, of course Tim Russert back then hosting that show, that America would be treated as liberators and be loved by the Iraqi people once we got there. Of course, that was not true. It was another lie, another deception by this particular government, and just another falsehood spread to the American people. This administration, the George W. Bush administration, that's who you should be pointing the finger at, and we should not forget this as we have moved out of Afghanistan and we move forward from this horrible war that we got ourselves into. It's easy to forget. In fact, I have seen George W. Bush on talk shows to this day. Same thing with Condoleezza Rice. When asked if they would do anything different regarding the war in Afghanistan, the war in Iraq, and they say, no, wouldn't change a thing. This is crazy talk from an ex-president. This is people that are in denial of what harm they caused, not only to the American people, but our military, the people that lost their lives, the families that are still dealing with this, people that suffered wounds and other catastrophes on the battlefields. You know, this is who this president, George W. Bush, should be apologizing to, and at least be honest that you made some miscalculations. Nothing, no regrets. It's unbelievable whatsoever. There should be apologies, but that's not going to happen. He's too busy sitting in his luxurious home in Texas, painting dogs and cats. You forget that these people leave office, pass this on to someone else, and let the other presidents like Obama and Trump and Biden to deal with this. They could care less. They get their pensions and let others worry about it. And that's what this administration did. And, I even saw George W. Bush, talking on the 20th anniversary of September 11th. And, a lot of people on the left and the right, congratulating him on his speech, comparing it to the insurrection. And somehow he's a great speech maker now. No, he's not a good speech maker now. He is the guy to blame why we can't pull out of Afghanistan smoothly. This is the guy that miscalculated everything, and the people that he had under him, even his top military leaders, were wrong. You can't blame the people that were in the military because they just followed a direction or directions from these leaders. So they're just following orders. They're doing what they're supposed to do. So I commend the people in the military, but the leaders at the top in the military, what failure all the way around. And if you knew it wasn't going to work, you should have stood up and said something. But of course, nobody does. Why is this all important? I'll tell you why. Because we need to write this down in the history books. Who's to blame for this? And it's his administration, and we can't forget this. And why we need to learn this is so in future generations, when situations like this come up, we know how to handle it, and we won't maybe be so fast to react to get into a war type situation that we don't have any plan getting in, getting out or what we're going to do in between. So let's hope a younger generation continues to learn from this, remember who is to blame, and hopefully make smarter decisions in the future. So that's my thoughts on Afghanistan. Don't forget, I always appreciate if you could subscribe here to the Roach Show. And don't forget, I'm the Roach. I'm out of here.
No more Roach on Florida TV.